Have you got your CV?
Yep.
How about your A-level certificates?
Again, Dad, yes. I know ever since Mom... Well, you feel you have to act like her. Back into it myself. I'm fine.
It's not that, it's just... After what happened 4 months ago with that madman.
The doctor?
Yes, him. I don't want you to be involved in any more alien invasions. No more dangerous stuff. You got that?
Yes. You don't need to go all over the top with keeping me safe, you know.
Look, I'm sorry. I just really want everything to go right for you.
I'll be fine. If anything goes wrong, I can just come back. The workspace is only in the forest, you know, about 1 mile.
Where that crater was. Where that doctor crashed down.
I did explain this all to you before. You know, when you found the job.
But it could be dangerous. Anything could...
Please, don't worry, Dad. If you worry about me, then I'll just stop worrying about you.
Yes, I know. But that's the parents' job, not the daughter's. So you better not start worrying about me.
Yes, sir.
Don't start that. Otherwise you'll end up like one of those soldiers you told me about at your workplace. What's it called again?
Unit? Sharpside, I think. It was built in that crater that was created months ago.
You're working in the crater?
Yes. As I said, this was Old Spring before.
But...
Do not say it could be dangerous. You've said it 1,000 times already.
Is this really what you want?
Yes. What do you think I took the job? And anyways, it's only for the holiday. Until I start my 3rd year of college.
Okay.
Well, I'm off. I'll be late otherwise.
Yes, of course. Oh, also, don't forget to look up in the sky in about 40 minutes.
Why?
The meteor shower. Have you forgotten? It's meant to be the brightest one seen for thousands of years.
Oh yeah, I'll do. Thanks.
Alright. Well, good luck. And have fun. And don't run into any characters like that doctor fella. Do you hear me?
Yes, Dad. Love you.
She shut the door and was standing on the outside of her house, papers under her arm. She took a deep breath, then began walking towards the distant forest. A short, confident man walked into a dark room, filled with computer monitors that illuminated the room.
Any update on that meteor shower?
Scans of it were wrong. It's not a meteor shower, it's a meteoroid. Not only that, it should be visible earlier than we thought.
How early?
In about 5 minutes or so?
What is this thing? First seems to have burst through Mars' surface, then it's completely changed direction. Now it's sped up.
What should we do now, sir?
Issue a warning to head office. Something is wrong. I don't like this. No one bit.
Deep in the forest, the girl carried on walking. She could see her destination up ahead, and she started to worry.
First day of my first job. Crazy when you think about it. So many things could go wrong. But, I mean, I have heard these guys are all about alien threats, and they did build this place in the location of where the doctor landed. So, all I have to say is that I know the doctor. But the greatest alien buster there is. Although, they might think I'm lying. Oh, what do I... This is what happened before. When I was working Freddy. Oh, why did I say no to his request? I could be learning so much now. That was right. Right as one I have ever seen. One thing he wasn't right about, though, was the time it was meant to appear. He's usually pretty up-to-date with stuff like that. And it's not like astronomers would be that off with the numbers, right?
Dom, it just broke the atmosphere.
What? Already? How?
Not just that. It's going to land about 30 miles away from here. And CCTV has detected someone standing outside our premises.
We need to get them, now!
Outside, the girl had just watched the meteoroid fall below the trees. As it did so, she felt a shake below her feet and a mushroom cloud rose up from where it had landed.
Uh-oh.
The mushroom cloud turned green and collapsed on itself. Suddenly, a large wave of gas rocketed towards the girl. She began to turn and run towards the building.
Help! Help!
The gas gained on her as she ran. She got up to the door and tried it. It was locked. She began banging on it.
Please let me in! Help!
Defeated, she turned and leaned against the door. The gas was right near her. An idea came to her. She took off a necklace she was wearing. Attached to it was a key. She put it up to her mouth.
Doctor, help! It's Kaya, please! Help me!
The key Sky was holding began to glow a dull yellow. Suddenly, the door swung open and Dom stuck his head out.
Get in, quick!
Sky ran in just as the gas was about to touch her and the door shut. The gas passed, and as that happened, the wave of gas disappeared, and in its place left the entire surrounding area in spiky, dark green vines. A bird flew by, and one of the vines whipped upwards and grabbed it. It stabbed into the bird and began draining it of its blood.
So, have you got anything planned for when Ray comes out the hospital?
What do you mean?
Well, after I came out the hospital, we kind of went a couple places, 1954 being one of them, which was a nice break from the monster chases. But anyway, the point is, we never visited Ray in the hospital. Instead, we're just traveling to when she gets released.
Do you really expect me to sit in one place for months while I wait for Ray to recover? Please. I have to be constantly doing something.
Well, don't you think that she'll be angry that we didn't visit?
No, she might like the alone time.
Well, I think we should do something. She did go through a massive operation after all, and also we need to cover up the fact that I had to donate my blood.
What's so bad about that? She's only your sister and not even a proper one at that. Well, she is now anyways.
But she might not like that. She's not, well, her.
They changed the phenotype to the DNA you donated. She'll look like her old self.
But if she finds out she has the same DNA as me, I doubt she'll be too happy.
It'll be fine, trust me.
He holds the door open, and a wheelchair comes in, being pushed by a nurse, and Ray, now a human, sitting in it, not looking too happy. It gets parked by the console.
Looking a lot better, Ray. Where'd you get the clothes from?
I bought them. And the bracelet I'm wearing, I made.
Thank you, Clive.
You know the nurse?
Of course. Whilst I was waiting for your appointment to be finished, Mark, Clive and I got talking. Very nice guy. We went on a couple of adventures.
Seeing Earth of 1954 was a great experience. Very enjoyable. Thank you very much, Doctor.
You took him, some random guy, to the same place you took me?
Who cares about that? Why didn't either of you visit me?
I told you she wouldn't like it.
Oh, that's my cue to leave. She's been talking about that all day. It's your turn to deal with her now. Don't let her do too many strange activities as she's still getting used to her new body. Alright then, bye!
Wow.
We wanted your new look to be a surprise.
No, that's not it. You just went off without me to 1954, was it?
Yes, I did do that, didn't I? But, wait for it.
The doctor runs around the other side of the console and picks something up. It was a messenger's bag and a sixpence. He gives it to her.
I picked those up from 1954. The bag's been modified by my good friend Kalaki. He made it bigger on the inside, and also telepathic. So you put your hand in, and you take it out holding the item you thought of. Isn't that cool?
Great. An old bag and a penny you picked up off the floor.
The sixpence is from me. Apparently a sixpence is meant to be lucky.
She stood up and put the bag on. She then slid her sleeve up, showing a blue beaded bracelet. She attached the sixpence to the bracelet. The doctor smiled when she did that and ran around the console pressing buttons and levers.
So, where to?
Where you promised? To New London, to get my family.
Yes, of course.
You didn't forget, did you?
No, of course not. I couldn't forget about something like that. I just thought maybe we could go somewhere like the Titania ice caps in the core of the QI Nebula, or maybe the Grenua Sands, just somewhere to test that new body of yours out.
Doctor.
She has been waiting a really long time for this.
Yes, you're right. Fine then, let me just input the...
Suddenly, the entire console room went a yellow color, and all the buttons and switches on the console were pressing and pulling themselves. The doctor tried reversing the inputs that had been done, but couldn't.
What's happening?
This is like what happened when you brought the TARDIS to you on New Earth, Doctor.
Yes, you're right. We're being attracted to a TARDIS key coated in active Archon energy. But that's impossible. I didn't create active Archon energy till the end of my time as my 14th incarnation.
Where are we?
The doctor brings around the monitor and has a look at it. It shows a map.
Earth, England, some woodland.
Well, we need to leave then? My family.
The console seized up. Couldn't press a single button or lever if I tried. Especially in this weak body of mine.
How do we fix it?
We need to bring the source of the active Archon energy into the TARDIS. And for that, we need to go out there. And from this monitor, out there doesn't look normal. Not at all.
Inside the building, Sky and Dom were leaning against the door. Sky was holding her necklace.
You right? Didn't get touched by that stuff, did you?
Nope. I'm all good. Thank you.
You're the new apprentice.
Yep. How did you...
Maybe the fact you're holding a CV and walking up to the building gave it away.
Oh, that makes sense.
She put her necklace back on. It glowed a dull yellow.
What's that necklace for?
A friend gave it to me. Oh, my dad. I'm to see if he's okay.
Well, you're not going out there. You have a phone, right? Ring him.
Right. Yes, of course. It's not picking up.
It's probably the gas, interrupting with the satellites. Try text. You should get it soon.
Right, I'll say, stay in the house, I'm safe. Don't worry.
Yeah, sounds good.
She sent the message and put her phone in her pocket. Dom looks out of the window as the gas subsides. He sees something fading into view in front of the door.
The doctor, she's here!
What? The doctor? I need to see him.
You are not going outside.
Please, I know him.
You do?
Yes. This key? It's a TARDIS key. He gave it to me.
I'm not sure if I trust you.
And neither will the doctor if some random guy comes up to him. He needs to see someone he knows.
Right then. You could be a useful asset. Come with me. We'll fetch some backup and hazmat suits. We don't know what could be out there. Just let me do the talking, alright?
The doctor, Ray, and Mark slowly and cautiously exit the TARDIS. They look around at the strange surroundings.
This is... Earth?
Yes.
It looks awful.
Imagine it without the vines. They aren't meant to be here. But I would say that even with the vines, it looks beautiful. Just like everywhere else in the universe.
If only everyone on New Earth had a TARDIS, to be able to see where the human race originated.
That would definitely cause the end of the universe.
So these vines, they're not from Earth?
No. Not whatsoever.
He knelt by the vines and looked at them. They were a dark green, covered in spikes, and were drenched in moisture. He feels it.
Where from then?
I have no clue. Although, I will admit, they do ring a few alarm bells in my head as to what they could be.
Alarm bells? That's not good. Shouldn't we be focusing on where the TARDIS key is before this? So we can go and save my family?
The doctor looks at the moisture he had collected on his fingers. He wipes it on his trousers.
Just water. Why would plants leak this much? Isn't water a plant's whole thing? Their whole way to survive?
Doctor? Remember we're meant to be looking for the TARDIS key so we can get out of here and save my family.
Ray, the active Archon energy is activated if the holder of the key is in absolute danger. This is that danger. We won't get anywhere with finding the key if we don't know what this is. Now, to find that out. Strange. My sonic can't identify this plant. The DNA seems to be corrupted. I need to get a sample of this. Anyone got a...
The doctor turns to see Mark and Ray holding their hands up to a group of people wearing hazmat suits and holding guns up at them. The doctor slowly stands and walks over to the group.
Put them away. The guns. Away. Now.
I really don't think you can tell them what to do when they are the ones holding the guns.
Which one of you was named the Doctor?
That'll be me. You know, the one who told you to put away your guns. Something you still haven't done.
Impossible, you're a kid. Is it you, miss? When informed the Doctor was female.
A kid? The cheek.
Me?
Of course she is. Soldiers, your guns. Down now.
Someone comes through the group of hazmat-wearing soldiers. They put down their guns. The person goes up to Ray.
Doctor! What a pleasure it is to see you.
What? I'm not...
I see you and your companions have already started to work out what this thing is, just like I was informed you would. Very efficient.
She is not the Doctor. I am.
This one's excitable. I see the theory is true. Your companions truly do get younger every time. This one has to be what, 30?
13! Being called 17 I can accept, but 13? I have you know I'm the ripe old age of 4,400 or so.
Ah, of course you are.
He ruffles the doctor's hair. The doctor pushes Dom's hands off with annoyance and fixes his hair again.
I'm Dom Doncaster, the supervisor of this particular unibase. We're expecting you to come back, especially after you created this crate with your TARDIS last time you were here.
You did that?
She ran away. This is where she ended up.
And of course, that was the obvious meteor strike that caused the vines to spread like a wildfire. But that's not the only reason we think you came back. We have a friend of yours here, Doctor. She says she knows you. Sky.
Sky?
Another person wearing a hazmat suit came out. They stared at the doctor and his friends for a second before taking off the suit's helmet.
What are you doing?
Well, if they're breathing the air, then it should be safe, right? Doctor, it's so good to see you again. Nice outfit.
Sorry?
Wait, sorry, hang on. He's the Doctor.
Yes, that's what we've been trying to tell you.
Doctor, who is she?
Is this someone else you took on your adventures like you did with Clive?
I don't think
Yes.
so.
What? Hang on. Clive?
So, who is she?
I don't know. Again, ringing some bells, but I can't quite remember.
You don't remember me. How?
I was informed the Doctor was female.
I was during my 13th incarnation. My 14th self did tell PM Agatha Hayes that I'd reverted to being male, but obviously you didn't get the message. Now then, reunions of people I don't remember are great and all, but how about these vines? What can you tell me?
He doesn't remember.
We suspect there was a direct cause of the meteor strike that occurred a few miles in that direction.
There was, a large green cloud that was expelled out of the meteor when it landed. Everywhere that green gas touched turned the area into, well, this.
Hence you guys wearing hazmat suits. I guess the gas has been dissipated enough to be breathable by this point, right?
Maybe the gas was made up of seeds of some form. They dissipate into the ground and create these vines here.
Possibly. Tell me, where did this meteor originate?
It was expelled from Mars. Well, that's what the trajectory of it tells us. We assume the Olympus Mons may have erupted and shot this out into space. Further tests would have been done.
The largest known volcano in the solar system. Erupted, but it's dead, extinct. Have to take a look at that when we're done here.
Doctor, stay on track.
Have these vines done anything?
They haven't been here long. 10 to 20 minutes or so. They haven't seemed to do anything.
Stuff is always doing things. Never trust anything. Especially something new. Right, I need to get a sample of these vines' DNA. Ray, a vial please. Dom, can I borrow a soldier to cut one of these vines open? I see they have handy knives in their pockets.
Here you go, Doctor. I'm surprised this bag actually works.
Thanks. Only the best for one of my friends. Oh yes, talking of friends, I haven't introduced us. I'm the Doctor. These are my friends Ray and Mark.
Hey.
Hi.
Now, Dom, which of your soldiers is going to help me?
Well...
I'll do it.
Thank you, Sergeant.
The doctor and the soldier go over to the vine, and the soldier cuts away at it as the doctor holds the vial underneath. The plant expels liquid into it. Ray and Mark go up to Dom and Sky.
Sky, was it? How do you know the Doctor?
We met here Well, not him. His whole self. I was there when his TARDIS crashed and created this crater. I watched him change into what he is now.
Regeneration.
Mark, your painkillers.
Right.
Is he alright?
He gets migraines. Those pills are supposed to help.
So, do you two travel with him?
Well, more like bumble around space and time, but yes, I guess you could call it traveling.
Last time I met him, I told him I didn't want to travel with him. He seemed so sad when I told him that, but it was all too much. All this. You two seem to be making him happy. Well, happier than when I last saw him anyways.
What do you...
Never mind that. You said you knew the Doctor, Sky. He doesn't even recognize you. He doesn't even look at you. What is all this about? Wait, what's that?
They all turn and look up at the sky. Another meteor was shooting directly down from the sky. It crashed through the roof of the building.
What was that?
There was another meteor! It went straight into the building. There are people in there, soldiers, with me!
The soldiers and Dom began to walk back into the building when suddenly the vine the doctor was taking a sample from rose from the ground and grabbed the soldier helping the doctor. It raised him up into the air.
Whoa! Help!
Everyone went to help. The soldiers trying to cut him down, and the others trying to grab the soldier's feet and pull him down. As they were doing so, the vine crept its way up to the soldier's neck and then stabbed into the soldier. The vine began pulsating.
Me!
What's it doing?
It's sucking his blood. Fascinating.
Doctor! A man is dying.
Right, yeah, of course.
They continued to help when suddenly the vine collapsed after the soldiers cut the end of the vine off. It let go of the man, riling in place and leaking what looked like blood from where it had been cut. Everyone went over to the man. Ray checked his pulse. The doctor scanned him with his sonic.
He's still alive, but he needs medical attention immediately.
He's lost a lot of blood. Seems to be replaced with the vine's sap.
That doesn't matter right now. Right, soldiers! You help the sergeant to the medical center.
The soldiers nod and pick up the man, carrying him into the building.
I'm guessing we're going to check out the crash site.
You guessed correctly, Doctor. Sky, you go to the research center.
What? No. I'm going with you.
Sky?
Let her come. Might bring back a few memories, who knows? Come on then.
They run into the building and through many corridors. The further they went, the more soldiers they saw, until eventually there was a whole group of them congregating around a large opening in the wall. Behind the wall was a room. The walls of it were cracked and the floor was missing. In its place was a large crater with something steaming in the middle.
Is anyone hurt here?
Not that we can tell, sir.
That's good. For anyone in the area, can you give me a lowdown on what happened?
If this is a similar matter, why hasn't the gas come out of it?
Well, if we're going with the seed theory, maybe because it landed on concrete rather than soil.
That would be a good explanation, although all speculative. It may not even be the same type of meteor that's the one that landed earlier. Although, saying that, it's not even a meteor. It's too small.
The doctor slid down the crater and began to walk up to its burning center.
Are you sure that's a good idea, Doctor?
I'm never sure about anything, but you don't know till you try, do you?
The doctor reached down and touched the rock unsurely. He then grabs it and throws it in the air, catching it. He walks up to the rest of the group.
Cold as ice.
How? That's impossible.
Not really. The type of material it's made out of can make it so that it's not thermally conductive.
Ah, so that's why we decided to hire you.
Very good. Sky, was it?
Yes.
Coming up with an answer like that does make us seem like the type of person you should know.
Well, I'm not sure.
Whatever. What is that thing?
Well, I can say for absolute certainty it's a plant of some kind. So definitely the same thing that caused the mess outside.
But you don't know what it is.
No clue. Although, looking at it does ring a few bells. Have you got a lab around here somewhere? I'd like to run a few tests on it. My sonic doesn't seem to like it.
Of course. Sky, you had a tour of this place, didn't you? You know where it is, right?
I think so.
Show the doctor and his friends to the lab for me, will you? I'm going to see if my sergeant is alright.
Actually, do you mind if Mark and Ray go with you? I want them to check the soldier over, if that's okay.
Our medical staff is of the highest quality. I'm quite sure they...
It'll make me more comfortable to have them looking at the soldier, if that's okay with them.
Sure thing.
Of course.
Right. You two with me then.
And that means, Sky, you're with me. You lead the way.
The two groups split off from each other. Sky and the doctor walk down the corridor for a few more yards and find themselves at a door. They enter it and find themselves in a dark room filled with many monitors illuminating it. The research center. Inside it was a woman working hard at a computer.
Hello, hello, hello. What's your name?
Me? I'm Laura.
Great to see you. Now, I'm the doctor and this is... Sky?
Yep.
This is Sky. We found a cool rock and want to examine it. Got any equipment to do that?
The doctor? I have...
Yep, I'm quite the celebrity around here. Now, the equipment?
Sorry. Of course. All the lab equipment is over there in the corner.
Coolio.
Thanks.
They head over to the corner and find microscopes, syringes, etc. The doctor sits down on a stool and begins examining the plant-like meteor while Sky examines him.
Doesn't seem to be like anything I've seen before.
How don't you remember me?
What do you mean there's nothing to remember? I never met you. Now, look here. The DNA structure. It's interrupted in some spots. Almost like what?
DNA splicing.
DNA splicing. Oh, of course you're a genius. We just need to split the two. Somehow. Oh, using the DNA from this meteor thing and the DNA from the vine sap. If they're the same, we could maybe mix and match the two DNA to form an unspliced version.
Told you. He told me to look out for you. That this you was a bit of a dunce. Instead, I walked away from you. I'm sorry for going to guess that the old you asked in his dying breath.
The doctor looks away from the computer screen he was looking at. He looks at Sky, suspicious and confused.
What?
Sorry. I just had to get that off my chest. I never apologized to you.
You saw me regenerate? I haven't been able to remember that at all. What happened?
What happened to you, Doctor? Why have you forgotten something like that?
I don't know. Last thing I remember was saving my friend Mark from a pack of temporals. Now, that's a story and a half. You should have been there. You would have really... I know you. Don't I?
Yes, Sky.
You saw me regenerate. Right here. This is where I regenerated.
Yes?
Oh, how have you been?
Good. Haven't done much. Just been job hunting, which is why I'm here. But other than that, just having a holiday.
Good. You deserve it after all I put you through. Oh, and how's your dad?
Good. Still a bit shaken with everything that happened.
That's a normal reaction. But you haven't reacted at all. You obviously have a strong mind. Strong mind. Hang on, you're the one with aphantasia, right?
That's right.
Did I help that at all? What I did was just a minor thing to start the imagining process. I would really need to take you to the beach to help you further, but...
Doctor, you helped. Giving me that bulb from that creature let me imagine for the first time in my life. The picture my mind created, it's still there, still vivid. Thank you so much for that.
The doctor smiled. He then stood and hugged Sky.
Wow, what's this for?
Time Lords. They never forget the first face that their face has seen. For me, the first face this face saw was yours.
He separated from Sky, still smiling.
I should never have forgotten you. I just don't understand how I forgot. It doesn't make sense.
The computer screen flashed up with information. The doctor read through it, his face getting paler and paler as it went.
Doctor? What is it? Doctor?
We're all gonna die.
What?
It's the end of the world.
Ray, Mark, and Dom enter the medical center. On the far side of the room was a curtain covering the end bed from sight.
Sarge? Sarge!
Shut up! Don't we get a bad feeling from this room?
Of course I do.
The question is, why?
Suddenly, from over the curtain, a person came flying. They landed on the ground in front of the group. Holes covered their entire body. Dom instantly kneeled down and touched them. They were as cold as ice.
Clive?
Wow. 2 nurses in one day with the same name. Yeah, weird.
He's had his blood drained.
And how can you tell that?
Maybe by the fact that he has holes all over his body and not a single drop of blood is pouring out of any of them.
That would explain a lot.
Mark and Ray noticed that Dom had walked over to where the body had been thrown from. They run up to him.
What are you doing?
Seeing what's happening here.
You go around there and you could be killed.
This is my unit base. If something is up, I need to know. I need my men to be safe.
Dom continued to walk around the curtain. Mark and Ray, seeing they couldn't stop him, joined him, also curious. They slowly walked up to the curtain and looked around it. Behind it was something none of them had ever seen before. On the bed was the soldier that had been attacked outside. He was barely recognizable, with the same type of vines that were outside seeming to be part of his body, twisting around it and covering it. This made him twice the size he should be. Around the bed were 4 soldiers, all lying on the floor, connected to the one on the bed with its vines, all having their blood sucked. Each had the same condition with the vines around their bodies too, not as intense as the soldier on the bed.
What is that thing?
Crinoids.
Inside the research center, the doctor was rushing around the lab collecting various instruments. The computer the doctor and Sky were sitting at was in the middle of processing something.
Which are?
Plant-based organisms which kill everything around it. Other plants, animals, entire ecosystems. All until the planet has no organisms other than crinoids.
Well, how do we stop them?
No way better than to blow them up.
The computer updates with information. The doctor looks at it. It showed a satellite view of the entire Earth. He dropped the items he collected.
But of course we can't do that, can we? Yeah, they'll be destroyed in the process.
Oh my god. The Earth is covered in those things. Completely covered.
That's not even the worst part.
Oh? How could it get much worse?
Remember I said DNA splicing was taking place?
Yeah?
A lot of Mars's water is infected with a virus called the Flood. That includes the water inside the Olympus Mons. Now, plants being plants need water to survive, right? So, I guess the plant which shot these seeds towards Earth had survived through using the water on Mars. Which means?
The next generation of crinoids had this virus in their DNA.
Exactly. Well, I know this is really clutching at straws, but good thing is that there won't be any more meteor strikes. Crinopods like this one here and the one that caused the mess outside travel in pairs, and I doubt the plant that created these pods is alive anymore, not after being submerged in this virus. So, no more.
Well, that makes everything better.
Doctor, do you know where Dom is? I need him to review this info of the crater created by that other meteor.
Dom! Mark and Ray, they're with that soldier. The soldier who got attacked.
So?
He's infected, and so are they if they don't get here quickly. Laura, a radio.
Back in the medical center, the crinoid soldier had just noticed them. The others on the floor began to stand up.
And what do we do now?
Well, judging by the fact that one person got killed and the other 4 got turned into those things, I think I would say, run!
Dom, can you hear me?
This isn't really the time, Doctor. We're being chased by my soldiers!
That's actually why I'm contacting you. Don't let those things touch you.
We kinda got that, thanks.
If they suck your blood, they'll replace it with the sap contained inside of the plant, turning you into one of those. If they kill you, you'll be eaten, and they will grow in size. Don't let them eat. Got that?
Yep, wasn't planning on it.
Dom jumped forward as the crinoid shot his vine towards him. He dodged it and landed on the floor. Ray and Mark stopped as the radio slid towards them. Dom noticed a red box on the other side of the wall. He got up and ran towards it.
Dom, we have to go.
Guys, what's happening?
I am saving my men!
He's going up to some sort of red box.
It's a deadlock activator. Don't touch that. Just come straight to the research center. Now.
For my soldiers!
He presses a button on the box and all the lights turn off. The corridor glows a bright red. The group continues to run as the crinoids catch up. As they run down the corridor, doors shut and seem to lock.
We're going to die!
I know that door shuts slower than the rest of all the others, for safety reasons. It's the bunker.
And how far away is that?
Very close, right ahead.
On the other side of the corridor, they see a large door beginning to close. They sprint towards it, and the crinoids catch up. Dom slides under the door. Mark does the same. And just as Ray was going to, a crinoid trips her up with its vines and inserts the vines in her ankle. It continues to run towards her.
Ray!
It's too late for her.
No, it's not.
Mark takes a knife from Dom's pocket and slides under the door once more. He slices through the vine connected to Ray's ankle and pulls her away from the crinoids and under the door. Just as the crinoids got there, the door shut. They were inside a large room. Concrete was on every surface. Soldiers filled the room. Everyone looked at Ray on the floor, very pale.
Is she okay?
No. No, she's not okay. And it's all because of you. She would be perfectly fine if you hadn't activated that stupid deadlock.
I was doing it for my men. None of them would have been here if you had not activated the deadlock sequence.
No, you were doing this for you, to make sure you were safe. And to make sure that when all of this is over, you can tell whoever is in charge that you saved this many people.
Not so loud. I have such a bad headache.
Sorry, Ray. Sorry.
Now I know how you feel getting headaches all the time.
Look, I'm sorry.
Don't talk to me. Leave us alone.
In the research center, the doctor was panicking as he was on the radio to Dom. Suddenly, all had went red inside the room and the door had shut.
The deadlock sequence has been activated.
No, guys, can you hear me? Guys.
They saw 3 people run past the door with 3 crinoids running after them. One of the crinoids noticed the doctor, Laura, and Sky in the room together and stopped in front of it.
Guys, can you hear me?
Activating it scrambles all radio communications. And if they're going to the bunker, there's no way you're going to be able to talk to them. Not through 6 feet of concrete.
Guys, what's happening? Guys?
They can't hear you.
The doctor throws the radio on the ground. It doesn't break. The doctor leans against a wall and slides down it, sitting on the floor. Sky goes up to him as a tear goes down his eye.
I'm sure they're okay.
Are you? Are you really? I'm sure you wouldn't be if you were me. No, you wouldn't be sure. I have seen way too many people die in my time, and every single one of them in a bad way.
Think about it. If you can't get in contact with them, that means they are in the bunker, right? You will still hear them if they were outside it.
You get the same effect when they die. No one talks when they die.
But how about if they are undead? What then? You're just going to assume they are dead and save the world without them? If that was me, Doctor, I would be pretty annoyed that you're doing it without me. But they are your friends. You can't just give up on them. You asked me to look out for you, but then I wouldn't do it. They stepped up and did it for me. I can see you need them. And at the moment they need you. So let's save them. No, let's save the world. What do you say?
You don't understand. You just...
What do you say?
Yes. I'll say yes.
The doctor stands, wiping his face. He looks around the room. Laura picked up the radio and put it back in her back pocket.
Right, the doctor is back in action.
That's what I like to hear.
What's the plan?
Laura, you seem to be pretty calm about this whole situation.
I've been trained that way. Can't work here if I'm not calm.
Lovely to hear. You're already doing better than me. So, Laura, do you know a way to turn off this deadlock? There has to be some way to turn it off, right?
There's a computer in the government building which controls the state of the deadlock. So if someone accidentally turned it on, someone in the government building would be able to see it as a mistake and turn it off.
They obviously won't turn it off this time because of the world's current situation.
Exactly.
So, we need to connect to government computers to turn it off again.
Well, yes, but that's nearly impossible.
Trust me, it's not. I was able to get an old friend of mine to do it back in 2005. Now then, let's leave that thought for a second and use the time we've got to think of a plan before we deactivate the deadlock.
Which is impossible.
Nothing is impossible.
The doctor goes up to the door and looks at the crinoid, looking in. He watches as a drop of water drips onto the window of the door.
Oh.
What is it?
The flood. The virus that I mentioned was on Mars. One touch of any of the water on Mars and you immediately get infected with the flood virus. I touched the water on those plants. The water should be infected with the flood virus. And I'm not infected in the slightest.
So because of the splicing, the flood virus is a lot less infectious.
Not only that, but maybe the crinoid is less strong too. Usually when it joins with an intelligent host, such as a human, it's able to speak English, somewhat. These, I haven't had a peep from. Not on the radio, not here. Hello? Hello? Nothing.
Maybe the float virus is being weakened from the crinoid's immune system, and the crinoids are being weakened by the float virus. It's a battle to see who can win. And both sides are failing. Badly.
Now we're getting somewhere.
In the bunker, Ray's condition seems to have worsened. A small group of soldiers surrounded her, with Mark trying to help.
I'm fine. Just leave me.
We have no idea what could be happening to you. We need to do as much as we can to try and prevent this, and leaving you alone will not be helping that.
Well, all these people here really aren't helping either.
Mark, is it?
Yes,
Come with me for a second.
I'll be right back, Ray.
Oh, don't worry about me. Take as long as you need.
What is it?
Look, I am sorry about your friend.
Dom explained to me how that monster out there works.
Okay, great. Can I go?
Your friend is going to have to die.
What?
She could turn into one of those things at any second. All of us here will be killed. You should have left her outside.
You can't do that. You can't.
We can and we will.
You're not doing this for your soldiers. You're just doing this for you. Again.
No. None of my actions were for my sake. I always put my soldiers before me.
How about this? We wait. We wait till we see a leaf or any plant-like thing begin to grow on her body. Then we will know for sure. I will accept it, and you can kill her.
What do you think?
I think if it was someone you knew, Dom, you would want the same, right? I think we should give him his wish.
Well, she may not be infected. Her body still could be fighting it. So, okay then. You get your wish.
Thank you. So much.
Mark begins to walk away. He stops and turns back towards Dom. He had an idea.
Have you got a radio, Dom?
Yes? Why? You won't be able to use it. The signals will be scrambled and you never get an output signal through these walls.
Doesn't matter. Can I have it?
Sure. Here.
He throws the radio at Mark. He instantly begins taking it apart.
What are you doing?
Screwdriver?
The soldier throws Mark a screwdriver. He takes off the back of the radio, revealing the insides of the radio. He looks through the guts of it.
What are you doing?
You see, I come from the 58th century. From a postal ship. Its comm systems was always breaking down, and I was the only one who ever fixed it with temporary solutions until I could get it properly repaired. The solutions were STWs, or slow transmission waves. All I have to do is change these wires around and scratch out that trace. Done. 21st century tech is so easy to modify. I wish the HS transmission was like that.
He puts the radio back together.
What have you done to it?
Slow transmissions waves are basically useless in any situation but in emergencies. They can send signals through the walls because of how large their wavelengths are, and since they have a different frequency than other signals, they can't be scrambled. The only problem is that they take a very long time for someone to get them.
He puts the radio up to his mouth.
Doctor, this is Mark. We are okay. We are in a bunker and we really need your help. Just before we came into the bunker, Ray was attacked by those things. We think she's turning into one of them. If you get this, send help.
He's never gonna get that.
It's worth a shot.
The doctor, Laura, and Sky were looking at a monitor. A microscope was set up, and the screen was showing what the microscope was seeing.
Just as I thought. Busy a sample of the crinopod sap under a microscope shows that the flood and the crinoid cells, and even their DNA, are fighting each other.
So that means that these crinoids are slowly killing themselves from the inside out.
Looks like it.
So we need to speed up the cell cycle then? Which means we need to get rid of or reduce the effectiveness of suppressor proteins.
How do we spread that across the entire world, though? How do we make it so that every vine in the world has the lack of suppressor proteins?
You said that when the meteor hit, there was a gas that spread, right?
That's right.
Not something crinoids usually do. They usually just hatch out of the pod and attach themselves to the first host they can find. Saying that, crinoids don't usually spread vines across the entire planet, and they don't usually suck the blood of a victim. That's it. The vines must be taking it to a source.
The doctor presses a button on the computer's keyboard, and a satellite view of the Earth shows up on the monitor. He zooms in to the crash site of the meteor.
All the world's vines. They all originate at the meteor site.
Just what I was hoping. The gas that spread wasn't seeds. The chronopod itself is already a seed. It's a gas that speeds up the growth of vines to spread extremely quickly.
So the plan is to inject the suppressor protein killer into the crinoid pod that's there?
Exactly. Thankfully, crinoids are extremely adaptable, so if they see a benefit to their DNA, they'll take it.
But how is destroying their suppressor protein a benefit?
We inject normal, unaffected crinoid cells into them, ones that have no DNA splicing with the flood. That's the benefit. We change the DNA of the clean cells to have no suppressor proteins, and when it gets injected into the pod, it will change everything about it and the vines. The cells will divide extremely quickly, and thus, the war between the flood and the crinoid will begin, neither of which will win.
I would imagine that the crinoid stem cells couldn't have any splicing with the flood DNA, since they are the essence of the crinoid itself. Those cells are also really easy to change.
I could start getting the crinoid stem cells now. Alien biology is my area of expertise.
Great.
Laura took the crinoid pod over to another microscope and computer.
While you do that, I'm going to...
How did he...
He's the slow transmission wave. That's why his voice is in slow-mo. Oh, clever Mark.
Didn't he say that Ray or someone was infected?
Yes. Yes, he did. So, Laura's injection better work.
So what are we doing?
We're going to start trying to hack our way into the government website. Should be pretty easy since we're on a unit computer. Buffalo. Just got to go into the devices connected to the network list, and there it is. They called it GovComp5. How predictable.
The monitors looked changed to show the government computer's desktop. On it, there was a pop-up saying, "Deadlock sequence activated in Unit Shropshire," with an unlock button below it.
You ready, Laura?
Almost. Just splitting the stem cells from the other ones. And done. Now, to alter the DNA to get rid of the suppressor proteins.
We would need a lot of radiation to do that. Most labs have radon solutions. Do you?
Why would you need that if you have a crinoid pod?
I don't understand.
Same.
Didn't you hear what I said earlier? The gas that comes out of this thing speeds up the growth of the crinoid, which is exactly what we want. Now, this is just a guess, but the behaviour of the gas is probably caused by...
It doesn't have the suppressor proteins in it. All we need to do is mix the gas with the stem cells.
Exactly. Stem cells are cells without jobs. They can change into whatever cell they need to be. So, if we put the gas near it, it might change to be a cell without suppressor proteins.
That's genius.
Give that here then.
The doctor handed Laura the pod. She began to cut it with a scalpel.
Stand back, Sky. We don't know what that gas could do.
Gas started to pour out of the pod. Laura poured this gas on the liquid she was creating, the stem cells. As she did, this liquid began to bubble. When the bubbling died down, Laura put the solution into 2 syringes. She handed one to the doctor.
Right, shall we try it out on that guy out there?
I don't want to, but I don't see any other option.
Well, here we go. To save Mark and Ray.
In the bunker, the lights came on and the red ones went off. Suddenly, the front door started opening. Everyone backed up.
What's happening?
Who cares? Someone help me with Ray.
No, I can do it.
A group of soldiers helped Mark drag Ray to the back of the room.
Right, soldiers! When they come in, open fire. Do not stop for anything.
And just in case, aim for the head. They could be like zombies.
Not needed, Sarge.
Suddenly, 3 crinoids ran into the room, and all soldiers opened fire, slowing their path towards the soldiers. 2 collapsed to the floor as they got shot in the head. The other continued, grabbing a soldier with one of its many vines. Suddenly, it too collapsed to the floor. All the soldiers went over to the one who had been grabbed. They were okay. Another noticed something.
There's another one at the end of the corridor. Get it!
They ran down the corridor, guns raised. They stopped near the crinoid and opened fire. It shook in place, then fell on the floor. The doctor, Laura, and Sky stuck their heads out of the room it was guarding.
Thank you, soldiers. We had that under control.
Sergeant Green, at your service. Is everyone in that room okay?
Yes, thankfully.
So, is it dead?
It seems shooting one of those things in the head kills them.
Huh, interesting. No matter, have you seen my friends?
If it's Mark and Ray you are on about, they are in the bunker at the end of the corridor.
I have to go. Laura, destroy the crinoid pod we were testing on. We don't want another one sprouting.
Right.
The doctor pushed his way through the crowd and went towards the bunker.
Doctor, wait!
Skye took the other syringe from Laura and pushed her way through the crowd of soldiers too, as Laura went back into the research center to kill the pod in there. The doctor ran into the bunker, syringe in hand. Mark was kneeling next to Ray, who was lying on the floor. Dom was standing over them. The doctor ran over to Ray and kneeled next to her.
How is she?
Holding in there.
Ray? Ray? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Good. You haven't seen anything growing on her, have you? Like leaves, vines?
Nothing.
Good.
Oh,
I just injected you. It should make you feel better.
it better do. I only just got this new body.
Looks like it's doing its job already.
Is she okay?
Yeah, the levels of crinoid sap in her body is dropping significantly. It's working.
So she's gonna be okay? Thank you, both of you.
Anything for a friend.
Exactly.
Now, the plan that Skye, Laura and I expertly came up with.
Oh?
Skye, why don't you explain?
Well, the crinoid pod
Which is the meteor that crashed outside.
is connected to every single vine all over the world. If we get to it and inject this into it, we are hoping that not just the pod will die, but every other part of the plant.
All the vines. Everything.
Sounds pretty simple.
Until you think you'll have to get through those vines to get to it.
That's why me, Mark and Skye will have your soldiers protecting us.
I'm sorry, Doctor. I won't be coming. I have to look after Ray and make sure that she's okay.
Ah, that makes sense. Well then, it'll just be me, Skye and Dom.
No. I'm going on a mission of my own. Now that we have to kill these things, I'm going to go on Squadron C to kill the AKINOLA in the medical center and do a sweep of the entire building. You can take my new sergeant, Squad A. If Skye wants to go too, she's welcome to it.
Well, are you? Like old times?
Like old times.
The doctor stands as Dom walks out of the room. The doctor looked at the unwell Ray and worried Mark as Skye handed him the other syringe.
I'm so sorry this has happened.
Don't be. It was all that stupid plant's fault. Not yours.
Look after her, Mark, okay? She needs to be well enough to save her family's lives.
Of course.
The doctor smiles, and then he and Skye walk back up the corridor to where the new sergeant was. They were examining the crinoid they had just killed.
I take it you're the new sergeant?
Affirmative.
Dom said I can borrow you and Squadron A.
Why's that?
We're going to kill those vines outside. Once and for all.
The group stood in front of the front door, all holding a sheet of paper showing the satellite image of the surroundings. They look out to the vine-filled forest outside.
Okay, soldiers. As you have seen, these things can be ruthless.
Don't let any of them touch you. One drop of their sap in your body, and you're dead.
Using the satellite image that the Doctor and Laura kindly provided, we can see a clear path that we could take to get to the meteor crash site. This is our target. We get there, we relieve the situation we have outside.
As you can see, the vines get closer together the closer to the site we get. So, you'll have to be careful when we get there.
Has everyone got that? Right, everyone? Move out!
You enjoyed giving that little speech, didn't you?
I will admit, it was quite fun. Maybe being a soldier isn't that bad after all. Well, except the killing part.
Sometimes you have to kill for what's right. From what I have heard, you should know that better than anyone else, Doctor.
I guess so. But
watch out for that vine, Samuel. That's it. Slowly now. Great work.
So, you remember me, Doctor?
Of course I do. How could I not? I also remember giving you my TARDIS key. You used it well.
Wait. You want it back?
Of course. We can't leave and go travelling if I don't have the key. As soon as the key goes inside of the TARDIS console will be usable again.
Oh. So, I inconvenienced you?
What? No! Not with an adventure like this. We were going to go somewhere boring before you brought us here. Thank you for that. Now, the key?
Right.
Skye takes off her necklace and hands it to the doctor. He looks at it before putting it around his neck.
A necklace. Nice touch.
He reaches into his pocket and brings out another key. He hands it to Skye.
What's this for?
Well, I gave you a key before. It wouldn't be fair if I just took it back now, would it? That's why you can have mine. You won't be able to summon the TARDIS here. Well, not for a few months anyway. The key needs to recharge after I used it.
So, you don't want me to travel with you?
Of course I do. It's just right now the TARDIS is a bit full. But don't worry. I sense Ray's gonna leave us when we save her family, so you'll be able to fit right in.
Oh, so I'm a backup friend.
What? No,
Everyone turned. Someone was raised high up with a vine. They were being dangled above everyone else.
Everyone, help him.
I'll head to the crash site. We're so close. Hopefully when I do this, he'll be okay.
Doctor, no! You need to back up.
I have Sky, and anyways, it's literally just over that hill. We can do it. You try to save your soldier.
Good luck, Doctor.
All the soldiers attacked the vine whilst the doctor and Sky ran over the hill. At the top of it was a large hole, a crater. They ran into it. They could see the crinoid pod up ahead. Suddenly, Sky tripped over and vines began to wrap around her.
Sky!
The crinoid pod injected.
The doctor looked between the pod and Sky. He saw a vine stab into her leg and begin to pulsate.
I am not losing you. Not again. First from my memory, now from existence. No.
Doctor, no.
He ran up to her and injected her near where the vine had stabbed her. As he did so, the vine stopped what they were doing and crept away from her.
What did you do?
I saved you.
But decided not to save the world? You barely even know me.
You were the first face that this face saw. You are more important than anything to a Time Lord.
More important than this planet? No.
I couldn't lose you. Not.
The doctor noticed the vines around them start to shrivel up and turn a dry, lifeless brown. The pair looked at the crinoid pod in the center of the crater. It was also shriveled.
What the?
Well and truly dead. The pod, the vines, all of it.
But how?
When I injected you, the crinoid vines were sucking your blood, so inadvertently the pod took in the medication we had created.
Speeding up their cell cycle and killing both the flood virus and the crinoid.
Exactly.
They looked around at the landscape, now covered in shriveled vines. They saw the soldiers helping down the one that had been picked up by the vine.
I told the sergeant we could save him.
I bet he never doubted you.
Especially with you helping me. I wonder what solution you clever humans will come up with to get rid of all these vines.
Burn them. Or leave them to decompose. Oh.
Sky began to collapse. The doctor helped her up.
You have to get inside. Let's get back to unit base.
No. I'm all better, right? No crinoid sap in my blood.
Well, yes, but...
I want to go home. I want to see if my dad's okay.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Well, if memory serves, your house is only over there, isn't it?
That's right.
I help you.
No, it's fine. I can do it. It's not far to walk. Anyway, I need the exercise after staying indoors all holiday. This year has been a funny old year, hasn't it?
Oh yes, 2021, isn't it?
That's it. November. That reminds me, we promised to meet up again 2 months after you dropped me off.
Ah, how many months has it been?
4.
Oh, sorry. Well, that's my fault. As you know, I...
Forgot. Yes, I know. I wonder what's caused it.
Well, I was travelling to meet you, but then I had a bit of a tumble. Must have hit my head.
Well, get that checked out. I can have you forgetting me again.
Well, there's no way I can forget you after this experience.
Well, I better be off. Now that's probably worried sick.
Yes, of course. Oh, and don't forget to get that leg of yours checked out. You don't want it getting infected.
I'll do. Thanks, Doctor. Where's Fruity?
Fruity?
My dog?
Of course, your dog. I haven't seen him. Why, has he gone missing?
I thought I left him in the TARDIS.
Well, I haven't seen him in the TARDIS. I'll have a look around just in case, and when we meet again, I'll give him to you.
Thank you.
No, Sky. Thank you. My old self was right. Turns out I did need you after all.
Sky smiles and holds the key the doctor gave her tight. She begins to walk back towards her house. Suddenly, her phone vibrates in her pocket. She brings it out and looks at it.
Oh damn, my message earlier didn't send. Well, looks like I have a voicemail. From Dad.
You have one new message. Main menu. To listen to your messages, press 1. To greet. First, new message.
Sky? Are you okay? I just saw what happened outside. I'm coming to get you. I need to know you're okay.
To return the call for your...
No. No.
Sky limps as quickly as she could through the forest. She needed to get home as soon as possible to see if her dad was okay. That's when she saw it, her home. A large dead vine had caused half of the roof to collapse in. Seeing this, she ran faster towards the building. Then she saw him. In the front of the garden of her house was her dad, lying dead on the ground, a vine impaled through his chest. She collapsed next to him, looking at his pale, cold body in disbelief.
Dad, wake up, please. Please, wake up, please.